part of why my story is so complex is I became a mom unexpectedly there. While I was there, I adopted my niece who lost her mom unexpectedly. And I went from being a single gospel worker who had all the time in the world to devote to the church and was there every day until late. I became a mom. And that's a very different scenario in Zion when you're a parent, a mom specifically, not dads. But I was always a part of the kids room, which is a mission. I don't know if you know what the term mission is like. It's a very vague term, but we have missions in the church, which are like jobs or responsibilities. And because I was always a teacher for my career, I was teaching long before I had my daughter. They had me part of the kids room, which not usually the only members part of the kids room are mothers, and they all contribute and take care of the kids in the church. However, I was one of the rare exceptions because I was a teacher and had education with an experience with children. So I ran some of the activities in the kids room, but I wasn't a mom. Once I became a mom and really bonded with the women there, the other moms, as well as the deaconess, I got really close to a couple of them that I think about very often. I reach out to the deaconess sometimes still to say hi because she's allowed to talk to me since she's a leader. The other ones are not allowed to talk to me because I left. But I do check on her with the hope in my heart that she'll say someday that she's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. She still is, but I have always sensed in her that she was very sad being there and she was not happy. And so I'm praying really hard for her. I still am in touch with her. She's one of the people I think about a lot. But the other moms there, we just had like a bond because we were there so much and we cared for each other's kids and we watched each other's kids grow. We were such a big part of each other's lives. So those are the women I think about a lot. And like I said, I don't know who's still there and who's not. And I just felt, I'm always very careful of other people's feelings. And I was a little like, didn't want them to ever think that I was talking maliciously about them per se.
Right.
But there was a lot of very big problems that I had that caused me to leave that is in specific regards to the children in the church and the way that moms are treated, as well as the children.
So you can actually share about that if you want. If you want to maybe just talk about what some of those things were that did start to make you really doubt and ultimately leave.
So it's really hard to explain without knowing the deep reasoning in the doctrine behind the way that they feel about children there. Mm-hmm. So I know some of it. I don't know everybody watching might not know, but they firmly believe that we were all angels in heaven before we came to the earth. And all of us sinned in heaven in one big event. And all of us are now born on this earth. Supposedly we're, supposed to be sent straight to hell, but we're here to repent and all this stuff, right? So they teach you that your child and your husband or your wife or sister, whoever's there with you, you need to disconnect from the relationship that you have with them biologically or relationship wise. They are just your brother and sister. And when you go to heaven, they will not be your child. They will not be your husband. They will not be your sister, brother. They will just be, your equal or whatever it is. So you kind of have to it starts to change your parenting style. It starts to change what you expect of your child in church. The things that they expect children to do, I never felt right about ever, but it became more apparent to me when I had my own child. And the reason is because my daughter came to me traumatized. She was 2 years old. She had no idea what was going on in her life. I had brought her right away. I got her baptized. I took her with me every time I was at the church. But the children are expected to be in Zion for Sabbath day very early in the morning for service. They're supposed to sit there quietly. They can't fidget. They can't play. They can't be loud. They need to sit through service. And there's 3 of them. And some nights it's very late. Like the service in the summer is very late. By the time you're bringing your kids home as a mom, and I'm speaking in this specific church, we were so small that pretty much almost every mom was also a gospel worker. And there was a lot of things to do after Sabbath day that were responsible for. And so there wasn't many of us to help lead the church. And so a lot was placed on us in addition to being a parent in general. But by the time your child was leaving the church, it was like 11:30 at night, and they'd been there since 8:30 in the morning. And my child was confused. She was not able to, she was tired. She was little. She was 2, not able to sit through third service as any 2-year-old after a long day would not be able to be. And they started kind of, how do I say it? They started almost blaming her behavior on sinful nature and saying that, Satan was using her against me to try to distract me from the services and from the gospel.
Right.
They started trying to separate me from her every Sabbath day. When this girl was just lost her biological mom, she was very attached to me. She was just getting acclimated to everything, and for them to feel, and that's genuinely what they felt because of the doctrine. They felt that Satan was using her to distract me from my jobs and from the gospel and from my faith because of the way she was behaving in services. They also, I was equally as attached to her. They were telling me she was like an idol to me. I don't know if you're familiar with how they feel about what they consider idols. Pretty much everything's an idol. It's not just like a statue or a cross,
right.
or it's a lot of things. It's actually a tool.
Anything you put before God.
Yeah, but it's just a tool to gaslight you and to make you feel like everything you're doing is wrong. So
right.
When someone calls your own child an idol, especially a church that believes in God the Mother and believes in motherly love and teaches you
Heavenly
all these
parents,
things,
and
it's so hypocritical to start judging moms and shaming moms for being attached to their children as children, and try to disconnect that relationship and say, in heaven, that wasn't your child and you're not their mom, and you need to raise them in Zion, like the Zion way. It's not physical, it's all spiritual, and you need to raise them spiritually. And aside from the Sabbath day, there's a lot of things, expectations on children and moms that are just not, I just feel they're not healthy.